Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Overbearing Exposition is ostensibly a follow-up to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, continuing the adventures of Newt Scamander and his magical menagerie of wizarding creatures. In reality, however, it is an arduous slog that acts less like its own film and more like a convoluted prequel to the Harry Potter universe. Normally in the review, this is where I would do a plot synopsis, but I find that very difficult with this film, and I'll get onto that later. And the fact of the matter is, I really don't envy anyone who is covering this film for a proper outlet, because those places will demand that you give some kind of idea of what the story is like, and if you don't have one, then your editor will quickly pull you up on it. But in this instance, I have no idea how that would work. I don't know how a writer would condense all of this crap into a review while still finding time to actually review the goddamn film. J.K. Rowling couldn't condense this plot into a 140-minute screenplay, so I don't know how a reviewer's expected to. That's the problem with this film. It's a tangled mess of superfluous subplots, needless digressions in the narrative, and a host of pointless characters that just seem to be there for the sake of it, probably to sell merchandise and toys and shit like that, because even if you tried to hone in on what the important part of the film is, so you could summarize it, like what the A story is, I wouldn't know what that is. It's a whole film of B plots. Newt, who is, I guess, the main character, his part feels more incidental than anyone else's. It's genuinely among the least important parts in the film. Everyone has a B plot. There's no focus, no clear, this is the main through line, this is what the film is building towards. It's just a load of shit. It raises a philosophical question about what movies, particularly blockbuster movies, are even supposed to achieve. We're getting into, a wider thing here. Because if their primary reason for being is to entertain audiences, then this film is fundamentally, I hesitate to use the word failing. I don't think it's even trying to do that. Because there are very few moments in this film where I think I was being given anything closely resembling entertainment. And that's not because I'm saying the film was failing to entertain me. It was, but more because I don't think it was trying to. Almost every scene in this piece of shit is dedicated to plot machinations, to exposition, and to setup. Not many of them, there's a few, but not many of them are actually about adventure, humour, or emotion. A handful, perhaps, but the vast majority of it is just about connecting dots and moving chess pieces to set up a third film. It's about filling you in on all of the requisite information you need to keep up with the next film. It's not an enjoyable adventure, it's a homework assignment, with the promise that one day a reward will arrive. Just not yet, it'll be in the next one. It wants you to be excited and to be anticipating that next film, but it's hard to really muster any enthusiasm when you're given so little to latch onto. Just a load of scenes of people talking about the world and just setting shit up and connecting dots. I kept thinking all the way through, I understand that this film is building to something else, and I understand that that's kind of the modern way of doing these things, that everything's setting up a sequel and setting up a larger universe. But even Iron Man 2, which is often called the most sort of weighed down MCU movie in terms of having to do legwork for other films, even that remembered to be its own film on occasion. This never does. And I kept thinking, I understand you're building to something else, but is anything of consequence going to happen in this film here? Because I can't think of anything. I watched the whole thing, and I don't remember what happens. Lots of talking happened. Lots of anticipating of other events happened, but not much furthering the plot of this film. It all felt very, I believe the term is inside baseball, where if you're not into it, you won't understand what the hell is going on. Because that's how I felt. It was a constant effort for me to track who was who, what they wanted and what they were doing. And there was a character introduction towards the sort of middle of the film that I think was supposed to be a moment, but I had no idea. I had no idea who this person was, and the film did not set them up. I've googled it since, and I vaguely remember them being mentioned in one of the other films now. But as it is in this film, they're not given any proper introduction. You don't know why they're there, you don't know what relevance they have, they just show up for fan service. And then there are other bits that were just confounding to me, with people like rambling about something called an obscurus, or something like that, I didn't understand. And there was a bit where a character, like, betrayed someone else, and I didn't understand why they'd done it, and I thought that I had missed something, but it just turned out that the exposition was coming later, like, towards the end of the film, and I was so goddamn confused. And then there are characters making random, like, complete 180s in their arcs, just so that they can fulfill a plot purpose. Like, someone just goes from one type of character to another because the script says so. It's very overwhelming. It's very, like, difficult to follow. Not since Batman vs Superman have I watched a blockbuster that felt this kind of alienating. And I did think, is this for kids? Is this for kids? I remember when Harry Potter was about chocolate frogs and wizarding adventures and, oh look, we gotta do a tournament to win a golden egg or whatever. I don't know, I don't really like Harry Potter. But my point was, it used to be simple. Now it's convoluted, it's long, and it's fucking morose. This one has some of the darkest shit. It has references to the Holocaust and to Hiroshima. And there's a bit, spoilers here, for both Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, and bizarrely enough Halloween 2018. I never thought I'd be putting them together. But there's a bit in this film where the villains toy with the idea of killing a toddler. And I remember in that new Halloween, there's a bit where Michael Myers looks at a baby that's crying, and he kind of contemplates, like, should I kill it, and decides against it, because that would be too dark for him. It's not too dark for Harry Potter, apparently, because they fucking kill a toddler. It was so strange. I don't know who this film is for. I just wish that they made this film just about a dude hunting crazy magical creatures. Would that have been so bad if it was just a fun, quirky adventure? Did it need to be this epic, convoluted, rambling mess? Who is this for? Who is this for? It's not for children. It's not for children. It's not for families. And I'm told it's not for fans either, because apparently there's lots of contradictions with pre-existing law. So who is this for? Is it just for J.K. Rowling? Is this just her thing? I don't think this film has an audience in mind. It just wants to set up a sequel that I can't imagine anyone leaving this film wanting. But maybe I'm just being harsh. I'm not, like, the biggest Harry Potter fan in the world. I like the third and the fourth one. There's a few others that I don't mind, but to me, this was just a very unfulfilling experience. A decently made, but unfulfilling experience. Like, I'll give it credit where it's due. I just wish it was a simple adventure. It just needed to be a simple adventure, but it's not.